What's your name again?
Welcome back to the Real Brain Wrap.
Today's episode, we're going to be going on into dinosaurs. And for instance, dinosaurs have been around for a long time.
Haha.
Take us back to...
The 1800s?
Yes, please.
Okay.
Because I forgot.
In 1830s, a guy named Peter Parley started making children's illustrated books that had some of the first illustrations of what dinosaurs could have looked like based off of fossil depictions. It was not only the first ones that children had seen, but it was the first ones that a lot of just the general public had seen, because this was all just scientists speculating up until this point.
Yeah.
Kind of. These children's books became very popular. It was no coincidence, though, it turns out, that history keeps repeating itself on realizing that kids like dinosaurs. Yeah, this was one of the first inklings of like, oh, wow, this is really marketable to kids.
Right.
Like, kids really like these illustrated drawings of dinosaurs. And part of the reason seems to be that it's a real life monster type thing. Like, it's a dragon, but it's not a dragon, you know?
Right.
It's like early humans thought that the fossils that they were finding of dinosaurs were that of dragons, and then that's why they were like, no, this is clearly a dragon, you know?
Yeah.
So it's like the connection is there, even with like Yoshi. Yoshi's described as either being a dragon or a dinosaur, depending on the context. What is he? I don't know. He's somewhere between the two.
After Peter, it kind of goes towards less aimed at children. I mean, aimed at like all ages, but generally with like Jules Verne, Sir Arthur Conan Doyle, and all those pulp sci-fi novels of someone either going to the center of the earth, going to a different planet, someone just finding some island that shouldn't exist.
Planet of the Dinosaurs.
Yeah.
Island of the Dinosaurs. Undersea civilization of the dinosaurs.
Yeah. Some kind of pulp sci-fi novels from the late 1800s, early 1900s in regards to just dinosaurs being around, and they were considered mainly monsters. Yeah, they were around, but generally, oh no, escape these things. After some point, 1914, we come to a very, very special dinosaur.
Gertie the dinosaur, which was one of the first animated shorts just in general, at least popularized, that a lot of people wanted to see. It was also mildly interactive, where they had live action, like actual person like telling the dinosaur what tricks to do, and then they would do the tricks. Mm-hmm. It was the first animated depiction of a dinosaur ever.
Yeah.
Which is important.
And it wasn't geared towards children yet. It was more or less just to show like what they can do with animation now.
Yeah. They just happened to pick a dinosaur. Maybe they were some of the first to realize that it was marketable.
Right. Moving forward from that, yeah, we got things like the animated use of dinosaurs in Fantasia, which came out in what?
1940.
1940, okay.
Yeah. We didn't get anything else like that animated wise for a very long time.
No. Yes, there were like depictions of them used in regards to stop motion animation or some guy in a suit, but some of the more offensive versions are Slurposauruses. It's such low budget that they decided to put paper horns on iguanas and alligators and lizards in general.
And other things too, fins and stuff. And one of them put fur on an elephant to say it's a woolly mammoth. It was a lot of lizards.
And they make them fight each other. The actors in front of a giant blue screen, like, oh my god, a brontosaurus, but it's an iguana. Or, oh my god, it's a stegosaurus, and it's an iguana with different horns.
Oh my god, it's a triceratops, and it's an iguana again.
It's Tyrannosaurus Rex, and it's an iguana. They all look the same, except for their accessories. Those lizards use their tongue to slurp. That's it.
That's the best we could find for like why they're called Slurposauruses, but the term of the Slurposaurus is specifically just about the way about going, having a depiction of a dinosaur in your movie the cheapest way possible, which at the time, the only ones that were doing this were guys in rubber suits, stop motion animation, or Slurposauruses. And unfortunately that was like the cheapest, but also the most cruel, because they were literally having just lizards and other animals fight each other on film, and one of them would usually get injured or die, and we were all watching it.
But eventually, Slurposauruses went extinct, which is a good thing.
They instilled a lot more regulations on what you can do with animals on film. There's not much being marketed towards children, even though it had been proven before that it was marketable to kids, very, very much so. It's like the bee monster version of like dinosaurs and slurposaurs and guys in rubber suits and all that, kaiju-saurs or whatever. It's like the trend of that was like that was something.
Yeah.
You know, but like I feel like it was always being held back by technology. They didn't have the technology to suspend everyone's disbelief. So only
Right.
some people were able to enjoy it because they were able to enjoy the camp factor.
And even though, like, the only way that could probably make it happen is through animation, and it only happened, like, 40s and before, like, 2 or 3 times.
Which is the strangest thing.
Right.
You know, it's like, why wasn't there more? There was a few things like that one BC Rock, but that wasn't until 1980.
Right.
The Ralph Bakshi BC caveman movie, which is weird.
Yeah.
Anything by Ralph Bakshi's kind of weird. But again, that's not until 1980.
Right.
So the fact that like there wasn't much animated dinosaur stuff going on. The only thing was the Flintstones.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, there was probably some copycat stuff to the Flintstones because there always was, but like that was happening and that was animated and kids. It wasn't. It was technically supposed to be an adult sitcom.
Yeah.
but
Like Captain Caveman, I guess, might have had some stuff. But that was less of a trend on that and more of just a trend on Hanna-Barbera.
yeah, yeah, 100%. Because like Hanna-Barbera was just kind of like cornering the TV animated market at that point.
Yeah.
They're making Scooby-Doo.
There may have been dinosaur and Scooby-Doo, but it was because someone was in a mask.
Yeah, and there was dinosaurs and Flintstones, obviously, but they proved that the popularity of that wasn't the fact that is set in BC, because the Jetsons was exactly the same and it was set in the future.
Yeah.
And so it was like both of those were equally popular.
One thing that also feels important to mention is that there was some dinosaur comic books.
Yeah, it was comic centric. It was also like kind of B sci-fi again. It was
Yeah.
like a weird resurge, kind of similar to the Jules Verne, Arthur Conan Doyle stuff that we were talking about before from the 1800s, but it was just coming back again in B comic book form,
Yeah.
which is kind of interesting because some of them would be like Batman goes to an island of dinosaurs. It's the same thing.
Yeah.
Except it's got Batman in it this time, which is arguably better.
Anyways, those were some brief takes on dinosaurs and medias and trends. Tune in for the next episode on
The Real Brain Rap. We'll talk about dinosaurs again. We'll talk about dinosaurs again and again
and again.
and again.